Sophia shapes our image for us every day in short videos. In her videos, Christopher is portrayed as a young man who relies on his wife for success, Emily is a harsh mother-in-law who favors her son over her daughter-in-law, and Daniel is described as someone who treats his daughter-in-law badly. As a result, our entire family has become the target of criticism. We've been criticized by the entire internet. Olivia, you're on vacation and back home. Tell me, what kind of image should I create for you? How about playing a slightly odd younger sister who falls in love with her own brother? I smiled without saying anything and turned around to start streaming in my room. One day while browsing online, I noticed that Sophia's social media account was trending on major short video platforms. This wasn't good news. A few lines of red text caught my eye, followed by a sensational headline. Influencer Sophia married into an abnormal family. Sophia's father-in-law had inappropriate thoughts about her. I felt like I'd been struck by lightning, frozen in place. What was going on? My heart was racing. I was angry and ashamed as I clicked on the trending topic. In the video, Sophia was crying bitterly, accusing our family of all sorts of wrongdoings, even presenting chat logs and videos as evidence. If I were just a bystander, I might have believed her words. But I know my family, Emily and Christopher, and I simply cannot believe Sophia's words are true. They both work within the system, and our family has always been harmonious both internally and externally, never arguing with anyone. How could they possibly be as terrible as described in the video? Especially Emily. They've spent their entire lives acting with integrity, and should be enjoying their golden years in peace. Now they're being criticized so harshly by the entire nation. Christopher has always been proud of his work and reputation, and now it's about to be tarnished. I immediately called Emily and asked, "Mom, what's going on? Why would Sophia do this?" On the other end of the line, Emily's voice sounded tired and helpless. She said Sophia told her that making videos could make money, and asked me, Daniel, and Christopher to help her act out a little scene to ease Christopher's financial pressure. At the time, Sophia was crying in front of me, saying she felt worthless, that she didn't do anything at home and couldn't go out to earn money. Seeing her so upset, I agreed. Oh my gosh, I never thought it would turn out like this. As soon as I stepped out, the neighbors were pointing and whispering about us. Emily's voice choked up as she spoke. She had been afraid I'd worry, so she didn't tell me earlier. I was pacing back and forth downstairs in the dormitory, feeling as anxious as an ant on a hot stove. I bit my thumb tightly and hurriedly said, "Then have Sophia explain it to me." My words seemed to hit a nerve with Emily, and she cried even harder. If she were willing to explain clearly, I wouldn't be so anxious. The problem is that she not only refuses to explain but also wants to divorce Christopher. She said it's for the sake of the plot and that we should think carefully about the future of our family. This isn't thinking about our family at all. She clearly wants to break up our family. Sophia is usually spoiled, but this is a big deal. We can't let her get away with this anymore. But when I was filling out my college applications, I just wanted to see more of the world, so I applied to a university in Florida, which is the farthest from home. There are only 4 days left before the final exams, and even if I'm in a hurry, I can only go home after school. I feel a sense of helplessness in my heart. Although this is the first time I've encountered such a situation, I try to calm myself down and comfort Emily at the same time. Mom, it's best not to go out these days to avoid encountering emotionally charged people who might do something reckless. Also, stop acting with Sophia. Try to talk to her and get her to come out and clarify the situation. You two should take care of yourselves at home and don't worry too much. After hearing me say this, Emily felt a little better, as if she had found support, and her mood lightened a bit. I also breathed a sigh of relief. I tried to communicate with Sophia on WeChat to see if I could ask her to come out and clarify the matter. I thought I was being very polite and spoke in a courteous manner, even using some cute emojis. To my surprise, she blocked me without saying a word. The trending topic was still gaining momentum, and Sophia kept updating her status. I never expected to become the villain in this farce out of nowhere. She had time to post videos but blocked me and wouldn't even say a word to me. I tried to calm myself down, opened the video app, and played her new video. In the video, Sophia looked terrible, with swollen eyes as if she had been crying. She said, "Family, Olivia threatened me to delete this video. I still don't understand where I went wrong. Is it because I told everyone the truth? Of course, not everyone believed her. I saw a comment. Why don't you just divorce him? It sounds like a plot from a TV drama, like you're faking it. However, when I refreshed the page, similar comments appeared and disappeared like fireworks, apparently deleted. I even registered several fake accounts to clarify the situation, but in the end, I couldn't prove myself, and all my accounts were banned. I found this a bit odd. Is someone specifically helping Sophia handle this? It seems like online communication isn't very effective. So after finishing my last exam, I immediately packed my bags and boarded the flight home. As soon as I got off the plane, I opened the door and saw something completely different from what was online. Sophia was leisurely eating snacks and watching a show on the sofa, while Emily quietly cleaned up the sunflower seed shells on the floor. "You're back, Olivia." Sophia's attitude toward me was unexpectedly warm this time, unlike her usual cold demeanor. Something was off. There must be a reason. Sophia enthusiastically helped me with my luggage, completely different from her previous arrogant attitude. I couldn't control my expression and coldly dodged her hand. "Sophia, what are you trying to do? Daniel and Christopher have been good to you, haven't they? This is making things very difficult for us." Sophia's expression clearly changed, and she glared at me angrily. "Do you know how much money I've made recently? A full 3 million. Can you imagine how much 3 million is? With Christopher's meager salary, he'll never earn that much in a lifetime. I'm just trying to help you all out. If you want to be poor, that's your choice, but don't expect me to follow you." As she spoke, she made a 3-finger gesture at me, looking somewhat excited. When she got to the most passionate part, the muscles on her face twitched slightly. I was about to argue with her, but Emily intervened, looking exhausted, so I had no choice but to go back to my room. As soon as I entered, my mother patiently advised me not to provoke Sophia now. Perhaps she'd explain everything to me when she was in a better mood. I was about to retort when Sophia unlocked the door from the outside. This was truly exasperating. How had my room become a place she could come and go as she pleased? Sophia showed her initial smile again, holding a plate of fruit in her hand. The anger in my heart finally couldn't be suppressed. "Who let you in? Get out!" Although Sophia said this, she didn't get angry, but instead smiled mockingly, which was very annoying. With a few simple words, she sent Emily away. "Go cook dinner. Olivia must be tired after coming back." At that moment, I didn't want to cause trouble and wanted to stay away from Sophia, so I took the opportunity to help Emily with dinner. But she seemed to have anticipated this and blocked my way. So I had no choice but to sit with her. She took my hand and put a very nice jade bracelet on it. "I was wrong earlier. I've always done everything for this family. You must support Sophia. This way, our family will live better. Olivia, you need to act like a sister who loves her brother." Sophia said this is the last time we'll act like this. Then Christopher and I will pretend to divorce, and once we've made enough money, I'll reveal the truth. Seeing Sophia's malicious smile, I suddenly came up with an idea. I bit my lip, forcing myself to suppress those emotions, and instead gave her a smile. "All right, Sophia. You love acting, so let everyone see it." Sophia was busy with my script and didn't have time to pay attention to me or record another video. So when Sophia wasn't looking, I secretly bought a small camera and clipped it to my clothes. When Sophia asked me to help her film a video, I started streaming live. I kept an eye on every one of Sophia's movements. During the live stream, I intentionally added Sophia's trending keywords, so as soon as I went live, a lot of people joined in. Sophia had removed her heavy makeup, and she looked radiant and healthy. Her face was glowing, and she seemed full of energy, not at all like someone who had been wronged. That's indeed good. She looks healthy, and her family must be harmonious. Exactly. What are the people upstairs saying? How do you think her complexion looks better? At that moment, the chat was buzzing with discussion, and Sophia picked up the camera to find the best angle. To be honest, Sophia really knows what she's doing in this regard. The so-called evidence in her videos looks like it was secretly filmed, making it seem very authentic. Olivia, later, hit me a couple of times, then say some nice things about your brother. Those netizens are easy to fool. Emily, who didn't understand what was going on, came over to stop us, and tears welled up in her eyes. Our family's reputation is already ruined. If we keep filming, we'll be in big trouble. Sophia, please stop filming. Emily almost knelt down in front of Sophia, but I held her up. Sure enough, Sophia didn't disappoint me and flew into a rage. Mom, I've already told you, all of this is for our family. Don't ruin it. Emily's pleas were useless, and she was eventually sent out to buy groceries. Sophia, is it really appropriate for us to deceive others like this? Let's just stop. Sophia's temper wasn't good to begin with, and after being refused by me and Emily several times, she was like a lit firecracker. What's this? I've already said it's for your own good. Do you want me to repeat myself? On the surface, I looked very wronged, but deep down, I was overjoyed. Keep going, the more chaos the better. I glanced at my phone. Everyone's opinion of Sophia in the video had completely changed. They started criticizing her for being weak and helpless, saying she was too easily swayed. I told you this was a bad idea, but you wouldn't listen. This Sophia is quite the manipulator, isn't she? I've sacrificed so much for this family. I admit I didn't think things through properly before. It's so frustrating that someone would say that. I think he's just looking out for himself. I don't know why, but something feels off. Now I realize her appearance is a bit unsettling. I feel the same way. Everyone, my younger sister-in-law has fallen for my husband. And their siblings. Sophia was in tears, but before she could finish speaking, her phone rang. Although I was a bit far away, I could still hear the shouting on the other end of the phone. You're lying. Your family is perfectly normal. You had your husband's family act this out with you. It's unbearable. Thank goodness your younger sister-in-law's live stream showed us the truth. It's so shameful. It seems like some nosy netizen leaked her phone number. She angrily cursed and hung up the phone. I took the opportunity to end the live stream. That's way too much. Sophia immediately tried to hit me. Fortunately, I was prepared and grabbed her wrist, then gave it a hard shake. She didn't expect me to do that and lost her balance, falling to the ground. How dare you treat me like this? Haha, college students are different, they really know how to scheme. She looked and tried to come after me again, but I deflected her every move. Sophia, why are you still refusing to accept reality? Who's really manipulating whom here? You're the one who ruined the family's reputation and made everyone talk behind our backs. You know how important Christopher's job is. He values his reputation. What you did was sabotaging him. Even if Christopher loses his job, I can support myself. Making money online is so easy. Do you really think our whole family will starve? It's all your fault. You ruined everything. You're such a frustrating younger sister-in-law, you don't even want to see us happy. She burst into tears again and smashed the vase on the windowsill in anger. I didn't want to argue with her anymore, so I called everyone back home. Christopher and Daniel had fled to their rural hometown because of the rumors. Emily was supposed to go with them, but she had been waiting for me to come home, so she hadn't left yet. Sophia tried several times to leave during the chaos, but I stopped her. Although she's a bit curvy and older than me, she doesn't exercise much and is the type who looks fat but isn't actually strong. Naturally, she's no match for me, the sprinter. After everyone gathered, I briefly explained the situation. Christopher was very firm about wanting to divorce Sophia. Sophia was so angry her eyes bulged out like she was about to fly out of her head, looking like a terrifying monster. I've sacrificed so much for this family, both in effort and hardship, and this is how you treat me. Christopher sighed and said, "Your sacrifices are too much for us to bear. Let's just divorce." Sophia refused outright, losing control of her emotions and slamming her head against the wall. Blood immediately began flowing from her forehead. Emily, who was so timid she couldn't even kill a fish, turned pale at the sight and collapsed to the ground, unable to stand. Christopher and Daniel quickly carried her downstairs and rushed her to the hospital. The examination results left our entire family in a state of turmoil. There were no serious head injuries, just some superficial cuts. However, the most important thing was that Sophia was pregnant at this critical moment and feeling unwell, requiring rest. Christopher, even if he wanted to divorce, had to consider the unborn child. Although Sophia had some issues, the child was innocent. Emily stood there, wiping tears from her eyes with her sleeve, choking on her words. Daniel sighed deeply, thinking to himself that they should first ensure the child was born safely and then consider the matter further. As time passed and Sophia withdrew from the internet, life seemed to return to normal. I always felt that beneath the surface of this calm exterior lay something unusual. Sophia seemed to be venting her frustrations by constantly causing trouble for our entire family. She demanded that Emily prepare nutritious meals 3 times a day, and no 2 meals could be the same. She also insisted on going to a temple on the nearby mountain to pray for herself and the child. Although I managed to avoid the chaos for a few months at the start of the school year, I eventually had to face reality. She spent every day giving me orders while 8 months pregnant. Several times I wanted to lose my temper, but Emily stopped me. She said, "Sophia is pregnant, her temper is bound to be worse. Be more tolerant of her. Besides, she's about to give birth, don't make things worse." To help take care of her daily needs, Christopher's mother-in-law and her family also moved in. The 3 of them only brought a few belongings. Sophia's family is from an ordinary farming family in the South. On her first day at our house, Emily asked me to give up my room for her son. Our house is quite spacious, with 4 bedrooms, 2 living rooms, and 2 bathrooms. Daniel and Emily have 1 room, Christopher and Sophia have 1, I have 1, and the remaining 1 is for guests. Now they've even brought their son along. Daniel set up a small bed in the guest room, but they still weren't satisfied. "My son is already so old, how can he share a room with us? Olivia is a girl, what's the point of her living in such a big house? It would be better to let my son stay there." These words seemed unreasonable, but Sophia thought it was only natural. "Just give the room to my brother. Your room has good natural light, he'll definitely like it." "That's right, sis. I'm still growing, so I hope your sister-in-law will give me her room." Seeing their families' faces, a wave of anger surged in my heart. How could they do this? This is my home. Taking care of Sophia's daily life doesn't require moving the entire family here. Plus, you scammed a lot of money during your live streams. If you truly care about your brother, why not just buy him a house? Sophia's mother sensed something was wrong, like a sharp-witted dog. "Sophia, you said you had no money, so where did this money come from?" Sophia stammered for a moment. "Well, that money hadn't been given to you and my father yet, it was confiscated by the government." Sophia's mother pretended to hit her. "Really? You actually lost the money?" Luckily, I reacted quickly and stopped the chaos. In the end, I didn't give up the room. I thought everything was over, but late at night, while I was dozing off, I suddenly felt something moving on the bed. I was so scared I woke up completely. I quickly turned on the bedside lamp. Sophia's younger brother Dylan, that chubby little boy, was lying next to me wearing only a shirt. Ah! I couldn't help but scream. My voice drew Daniel, Emily, Christopher, and the rest of the family over. Christopher's mother-in-law was leaning against the door, occasionally laughing coldly. "I told you to give up the room, but you wouldn't listen. It's your good fortune that our family can sleep in the same bed with you." Dylan also said, "That's right, you're so old, yet you're making me suffer." Christopher was so angry that his eyes turned red, and he wanted to rush over and hit Dylan. I was afraid things would get out of hand, so I stopped Christopher along with Daniel. Sophia, who had been hiding in the room peeking through the door crack, sensed something was wrong and rushed out. "If you want to fight, go ahead. I have the courage to face this with the children." Sophia, who was pregnant, became very emotional and cried hysterically. For the sake of the bigger picture, I told Daniel and Christopher to stop arguing and ensure Sophia could give birth safely. The next morning, I locked the door and left home for the hotel. Before leaving, Emily felt guilty and gave me 5,000 yuan in cash. Unfortunately, this was witnessed by Sophia's mother. There was nothing unusual about it, but in her eyes, it was different. She shouted loudly, ran over, and snatched the money from me. This was all Sophia's money. How dare you take this money? I couldn't hold back and pushed her to the ground, trying to grab the money from her hands. To my surprise, she didn't let go and bit my wrist hard. The pain was intense, and I fell to the ground. The noise was so loud that it attracted everyone around us. Dylan suddenly rushed over and swung his fist at me. Emily tried to stop him, but he pushed her to the ground. Christopher quickly stepped forward and drove her father and his family out. Daniel finally couldn't take it anymore. His expression turned serious, and he wanted to drive them away. Sophia, upon hearing that her family was being asked to leave, immediately resorted to her usual tactics. I didn't want my family to feel awkward because of me, so I told them, "Just give this money to the beggars. Daniel and Christopher, don't be angry about this. Let's talk about it after Sophia gives birth." I slammed the door and left. After a few days of peaceful life at the hotel, my phone suddenly received a message from Sophia. "I want to eat Australian lobster. Go buy some for me." I found her annoying, so I threw my phone aside, pulled the blanket over me, and went back to sleep. Not long after, Emily called me. "Olivia, Sophia is demanding the Australian lobster you bought for her again." Emily's voice sounded exhausted, and I felt something was off about this. She always acts like this, doesn't she fear we'll abandon her child? I agreed to do it first. When I got home, I was carrying the lobster and saw Sophia downstairs talking on the phone. She's now quite famous in the neighborhood. When she goes out, she always dresses very modestly to avoid being recognized by others. But she can answer the phone at home. Why is she standing downstairs in the cold wind? She's actually afraid of being seen by others. Thinking this, I put down the plastic bag and quietly approached her to see what was going on. I dared not get too close, so I crouched 3 meters away from the electric bike shed. Sophia deliberately lowered her voice, so I could only hear bits and pieces. "Ha ha ha, this family helped you out, you'll save a lot of money now. Don't worry, once the child grows up, I'll tell him who his father is." Oh my, this is so frustrating. I'm pregnant now. Why are you always thinking about such unreliable things? I was certain the person on the phone wasn't Christopher. Sophia called Christopher without bothering to go downstairs, and Christopher didn't speak that way either. I froze, feeling like someone had poured a bucket of cold water over me. So, Sophia had betrayed Christopher, and the child might not be his. I was too nervous to move, afraid Sophia would notice me. Fortunately, I had started recording the call from the beginning. I didn't dare tell Emily and Daniel directly, worried they wouldn't be able to handle it. I sent the recording directly to Christopher. Christopher's reaction was much calmer than I expected. He only replied, "I know. Don't tell Mom and Dad. I'll handle it myself." But I knew he wasn't at ease inside. After all, he and Sophia had been together since college and got married. But even the best relationships can't withstand the test of time. Christopher had been holding it in until Sophia gave birth to a boy, and the child didn't resemble anyone in our family at all. However, seeing the child, I felt he looked familiar, but after thinking about it for a while, I couldn't figure out who he resembled. Emily was very happy and particularly fond of the child. Christopher and I exchanged glances, and I took the opportunity to pull out a strand of the child's hair. Christopher said he was going out for a smoke, but in reality, he went to have the hair tested. A week later, the test results came back. Sure enough, the child wasn't Christopher's. Though I thought I'd cry, Christopher actually looked relieved. If the child had been mine, I wouldn't have known what to do. After Sophia gave birth and finished her postpartum period, her family didn't leave. They even asked Daniel for help transferring their son's school enrollment. "The education in the city is top-notch, your son deserves the best." We were no longer being threatened, so I struck back. "Your son not receiving a good education is your responsibility. You should reflect on how you earn your money and how you can provide a better life for your precious son, instead of always demanding us to do things for you. Your demands are truly excessive." We had a heated argument and finally drove that family away. Sophia didn't say much this time. However, after they left, Emily noticed that a full set of gold jewelry was missing. It was obvious that Sophia's family had done it. This time, I decided to be friendly first and then take a firm stance. Sophia, if you don't return Emily's things, we'll have to call the police. Which eye did you see my parents take anything from your house? I feel like you're accusing others while having issues yourself. Maybe you took it. I don't have time to argue anymore, I'm calling the police. Christopher hired a private detective to investigate, and sure enough, they found a lot of evidence of Sophia betraying Christopher. What surprised us was that the person involved was Brandon. Brandon is a typical troublemaker. He looks decent on the surface but has little education. What's even more frustrating is that she had previously tried to set me up with that troublemaker. Fortunately, Christopher and Sophia had a huge argument, which made her abandon that idea. Looking back now, Sophia must have had other motives. Besides this shocking news, there was another even more shocking revelation. It turned out that Sophia had already wanted to divorce Christopher. The idea to make the video was Brandon's. Christopher hesitantly opened the WeChat voice recordings found by the private detective, and the recording was of Brandon speaking. Before the divorce, we should get something from his family. You're right. They look decent on the surface, but their financial situation is actually dire. Short videos are all the rage now, and family ethics are a hot topic. We can use this opportunity to have them make a short drama, with you playing the victim. Then we'll stage a divorce, go live streaming to sell stuff, and make a fortune. Actually, Sophia's mention of divorce was just part of their plan. Christopher's eyes turned red, but he refused to let the tears fall. I thought Sophia was just being stubborn, but I never expected her to be so ruthless. I suddenly didn't know what to say, so I kept gently rubbing Christopher's back. Our counterattack plan had begun. Christopher came up with an excuse to send Emily and Daniel back to their rural hometown. Now there were only the three of us left at home. Christopher and I remained calm, pretending everything was normal. Out of humanitarian considerations, I agreed to take care of the children first, at least ensuring their safety and preventing Sophia from shifting the responsibility onto us. In fact, Christopher had already filed for divorce with the court. I still remember the expression on Sophia's face when she received the court summons. She clenched her fists tightly, her teeth grinding, and her eyes seemed to blaze with anger. She was so agitated that she started pacing back and forth, even slapping the poor infant. I witnessed all of this through the home surveillance cameras, as Christopher and I had checked into a hotel the day before. In the end, Christopher and Sophia successfully divorced. Due to her infidelity, Sophia received very little in the divorce settlement, with most of the assets awarded to Christopher, leaving her with only a small portion. Christopher didn't care about the money. Moreover, the money was obtained through dishonest means. He donated the entire amount to impoverished mountainous areas under the name of the Wilson family. The four of us sat on the sofa, watching the video sent by the principal, feeling particularly happy. The video showed the library built with that money, with children reading in the brightly lit library. This was a good deed. Emily smiled and patted Christopher on the shoulder. Later, after I graduated from university and started working, I heard news about Sophia again. By then, Christopher had remarried, his career was going smoothly, and his new wife Isabella was as kind and virtuous as Emily. They also had their own little princess. Sophia, after divorcing, remarried Brandon with her child. Brandon was deeply addicted to gambling and had already squandered all his money. To pay off his debts, he even sold his own children to human traffickers and broke Sophia's legs, forcing her to beg on the streets. One day, I happened to see her on the street, and she recognized me immediately. She grabbed my clothes and wouldn't let me go. "Oh, someone please help me. My relatives abandoned me and left me to beg on the streets. Haha, I'm not falling for that old trick again. Just call the police, and it'll be resolved."